Have you ever joined a Roblox server that just felt off? I'm not talking about lag or a few annoying players. I'm talking about a deep, unsettling feeling that something is fundamentally wrong. That's what happened to me last Tuesday. I was scrolling through the game's list, bored, looking for something new. I stumbled upon a game called Echoes of the Manor. The thumbnail was just a dark, grainy picture of an old house. It had 0 players online, which should have been my first red flag. But curiosity got the better of me. I clicked play. The game loaded, and I found my avatar standing in front of a massive, decaying mansion. The sky was a permanent, sickly gray. There were no instructions, no welcome pop-ups, just silence. Not even the usual Roblox ambient sounds. Just nothing. The silence was so complete it felt heavy. I walked my character up the crumbling stone steps and pushed open the heavy wooden doors. The inside was even darker than the outside. The only light came from the windows, casting long, distorted shadows across the dusty floor. A grand staircase stood in the center of the foyer, leading up into the oppressive darkness. As I explored the ground floor, I noticed something strange. The portraits on the walls were all of the default Roblox noob avatar, but their faces were distorted. The simple smiles were twisted into grotesque, painful grimaces. Some of their eyes were blacked out completely. It was genuinely creepy. I found a dining room with a long table set for a feast, but the food was all rotten and covered in digital mold. In the kitchen, pots and pans were scattered everywhere, as if someone had left in a hurry. The whole place felt like a memory of a tragedy. I decided to head upstairs. The silence was starting to get to me, so I was half hoping to find something, anything, to break it. As I reached the top of the stairs, I heard it. A faint whisper. It was just a single word, my own username. My heart jumped. I spun my camera around, but there was no one there. The player list still showed I was the only one in the server. I told myself it was just a weird in-game sound effect, but my hands were shaking. I continued down the hallway, peering into bedrooms. Each one was a mess, with furniture overturned and clothes strewn about. In the last room at the end of the hall, I found a small, child-sized bed. On the pillow was a single red block. It looked out of place in the otherwise colorless environment. As my avatar got closer, a text box appeared on the screen. It wasn't the standard Roblox GUI. It was jagged, like it was handwritten. It said, "You shouldn't have come back." Came back? I had never been in this game before. Before I could even process the message, my screen glitched. For a split second, I saw another avatar standing in the corner of the room. It looked like a classic Roblox guest, but its body was glitched and broken, its limbs bent at impossible angles. And it had no face, just a smooth, blank surface. Then it was gone. Freaked out, I tried to leave the game. I hit the escape key, clicked the leave game button, and nothing happened. The button was unresponsive. I tried again and again. Panic started to set in. I was trapped. Suddenly, the whispering started again, but this time it was all around me. A chorus of voices, all murmuring my username, getting louder and more frantic. I ran out of the room, my camera shaking wildly. The portraits in the hallway had changed. Now, the noobs were all crying black tears. I bolted down the stairs, desperate to get out the front door. But as I reached the bottom, the door slammed shut. The screen glitched again, more violently this time. The faceless guest avatar was there, standing right in front of me. It didn't move. It just stood there, a silent, terrifying figure. A new text box appeared. "We missed you." My whole computer froze. The whispers turned into a deafening roar of static that blared through my headphones. I couldn't Alt-Tab, I couldn't Control-Alt-Delete, nothing worked. I had to do a hard shutdown by holding the power button. When my PC rebooted, I immediately checked my browser history to find the game and report it. But it was gone. It wasn't in my recently played list on Roblox either. It was as if Echoes of the Manor never existed. I haven't been able to sleep well since. Sometimes, late at night, when my room is quiet, I think I can still hear a faint whisper. A whisper of my own username. So if you ever see a game with 0 players and a creepy thumbnail, just keep scrolling. Some doors are better left unopened. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to hear more strange stories. Stay safe out there. Alright, let me tell you about the creepiest thing that ever happened to me on Roblox. It wasn't in one of those pre-made horror games, either. This was real. Well, as real as it gets online. I was around 12, and my life was basically school, homework, and Roblox. My favorite game back then was a simple role-playing game where you could build a house, get a job, and just hang out with people. Pretty standard stuff. One evening, I logged in and noticed something was off. The server was almost empty, which was weird for a Friday night. There were only 3 other players besides me. One of them had a really strange username, just a random string of numbers and letters. Their avatar was just the default gray dummy, no clothes, no hair, nothing. I figured it was just a new player and didn't think much of it. I went to my virtual house, a little cottage I had spent weeks decorating. But when I got there, the door was already open. I thought maybe I'd forgotten to close it last time. Inside, everything was a mess. My furniture was flipped over, and weird red blocks were scattered all over the floor. I was annoyed, thinking it was some kind of glitch. I started cleaning up, but as soon as I'd move a piece of furniture back, it would flip over again instantly. That's when a chat notification popped up. It was from the weirdly named player. The message just said, "I like what you've done with the place." My heart just dropped. How did they get in? The doors were locked to everyone but me. I typed back, "Who are you? Get out of my house." There was no reply. I tried to kick them from my property, but the option was grayed out. I couldn't do anything. Then, things got even weirder. My avatar started moving on its own. It walked over to a wall and started repeatedly banging its head against it. I wasn't touching my keyboard or my mouse. I was completely frozen, just staring at the screen. The other player's avatar suddenly appeared right behind mine. They still hadn't said anything. They just stood there, watching. I tried to leave the game, but the exit button wouldn't work. I even tried closing the whole window, but my computer wasn't responding. I was trapped, forced to watch my avatar glitching out. The chat box opened again. Another message from the hacker. "Don't you want to play with me?" Then, my avatar was teleported to a dark, empty space. It was just a black void. The only other thing there was the hacker's gray avatar, standing a few feet away. Suddenly, hundreds of copies of their avatar appeared, surrounding me. They all started walking towards my character, closing in. The chat was flooded with the same message over and over. "We just want to play." I was genuinely terrified. I did the only thing I could think of and held down the power button on my computer until it shut off completely. I sat there in the dark, my heart pounding. I didn't touch Roblox for a month after that. When I finally got the courage to log back in, I went to check out that role-playing game. It had been deleted, vanished completely. I searched for it, but there was no trace it ever existed. I never saw that player again, but I'll never forget that night. It taught me that sometimes the scariest monsters aren't in the games, they're the people playing them. Thanks for listening, and be careful out there.
All started on a pretty normal Tuesday. I was bored scrolling through games when I found one with a weirdly low player count, like only 3 people were in it. The game was called The Whispering Manor. The thumbnail was just a dark, grainy picture of an old house. Super original, right? But something about it just pulled me in. I loaded in, and the atmosphere was instantly creepy. It was dark, a storm was raging outside, and the only light came from a flickering fireplace in the grand hall of this massive, dusty mansion. The other 2 players were already there, their avatars huddled by the fire. We didn't talk, just exchanged a few waves. The objective was simple: find a key to escape the manor before sunrise. Classic horror game stuff. We decided to split up to cover more ground. Bad idea. I know. It's rule number 1 in any horror movie. I took the upstairs hallway, which was lined with creepy portraits whose eyes seemed to follow me. As I walked, I started hearing faint whispers. I figured it was just the game's sound effects, trying to be spooky. But then, the whispers started to sound like my own username. Chills, literal chills down my spine. I tried to type in the chat, asking if the others heard it too, but my chat was disabled. A message popped up. "You can't talk, only listen." Okay, now I was genuinely freaked out. I pushed open a door at the end of the hall and entered a child's bedroom. A single rocking horse was swaying back and forth in the center of the room, but there was no wind. It just moved on its own. Suddenly, a notification appeared on the side of my screen. Player 2 has left the game. Then, a moment later, another one. Player 3 has left the game. Great, now I was completely alone. Or so I thought. The whispering grew louder, more distinct. It wasn't just my username anymore. It was saying things it couldn't possibly know. It mentioned my dog's name. It talked about the poster I have on my bedroom wall. My heart was hammering in my chest. This wasn't just a game anymore. I spun my camera around, frantically looking for the source, and that's when I saw it. Standing in the doorway was an avatar. It looked like a default Roblox character, but it was glitched out, its limbs twisted at unnatural angles, and it had no face. Just a smooth, blank surface. I tried to leave the game. I hit the escape key, clicked the leave button, but nothing happened. The button was grayed out. A new chat message appeared on my screen, not from the system, but from this thing. It said, "You can't leave? You're part of the story now." My character was frozen in place. The faceless avatar slowly glided towards me, the whispering turning into a deafening roar in my headphones. My screen started glitching, turning red and black. Just as the figure reached me, my entire computer shut down. Not a blue screen, not an error message, just black, dead. It took a full minute for me to get my PC to reboot. When it finally came back on, I immediately checked my Roblox history. The game, the Whispering Manor, wasn't there. It was gone. It was like it never existed. I searched for it, but nothing came up. I haven't been able to find it since. Sometimes, when I'm playing other games, I think I hear a faint whisper, and I swear, for just a split second, I'll see a glitched, faceless avatar standing in the distance before it disappears. So, if you ever see a game called The Whispering Manor, do yourself a favor and just keep scrolling. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more spooky stories. Stay safe out there.